Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Aaron Trevino here, and we have a terrific guest from the Rio Grande Valley. We have Justin Ross Ramirez. How you doing, Justin?
Hey guys, doing well.
Yes, sir. So, for those of us who aren't too familiar with you, could you kind of introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you?
All right, like I said, I'm from the Rio Grande Valley, so the bottom deep South Texas. I'm 33-year-old investor. Right now, I have seven doors long-term rentals. I have one short-term rental, and hopefully by the end of next month, I'll have another single-family home.
Okay, very good. So, where in the Rio Grande Valley?
So primarily, I'm in Edinburgh, Texas. So I have two fourplexes right there, right next to the university. Yeah. And
Okay.
why I invested it there because this started a new medical school, and before the sickness and illness, you would think that it would constantly be having students and stuff like that. So that was my idea, and my objective was to have long-term renters. Yeah.
Okay. So, to you, what do you like about real estate? What's kind of appealing to you about it?
The wealth building, you know what I mean? Like having others pay for the fourplex itself and lowering down my debt, increasing, my wealth over time. That was the aspect. A couple of years back, I started reading, maybe in about 2006, when I first started college, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know a lot of people, reference that book. Um, it clicked into me in my mind that like, okay, well, I can have other people pay for things in my life and then have the objective or live the lifestyle that I wanted to. And then, the recession happened, and, I was still pretty young. I was like maybe 19 years old. I didn't really think it was a goal for me at that point because I was looking at houses that were like $100,000 and selling for $30,000, $40,000. And I didn't have any credit. I wasn't able to like pick that up. And then a couple of years later, maybe about 2017, I decided, you know what, this is still a good idea. I reread the book again, and I said, you know what, I can do this. I can I can start off with just one single family home or a fourplex or something like that.
Cool. So was there a particular moment, when maybe the economy kind of was a little shaky, or was there like a big monumental moment where you realize, hey, I can do this?
Well, I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so like, my dad owned a ranch. He owned a bar, a restaurant. My mom, she sold things. She helped manage things. So I come from a family. My dad's side, they have tons of like entrepreneurs, from truck drivers to welders, to people that own restaurants and bars, and also other ranches. So my dad was very competitive in his life. So he always had, the entrepreneurship, and then my mom always did too. So I grew up with that. My dad never worked for anybody. He worked for John Deere when I was like a child, but after that, he started his own business, and that's what he always did until he passed away. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's neat that you were able to grow up with that, because a lot of people don't exactly, or they're not able to see that kind of entrepreneurial mindset.
Oh yeah, like I know I have a lot of friends that they don't believe it will work. Like, oh, that can't work. And I'm like, no, like, you don't have to work for somebody else for, 30, 40 years and then retire. You can, even though my dad passed away, we still have some kind of income coming along, because of the ranch and things like that. Like, we still have something he's left behind that's still generating something, you know? It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is interesting how you can do something like that, how you can kind of be able to leave a legacy through the strategic planning that you're doing right now.
Yeah. Even when my dad was sick, he was sick for about 2 years. He was lying in a bed, sick, but he was still getting rental income from the ranch, still getting rental income from the bar. He was still making more money than most people would go into work. So, we lived okay.
Absolutely. Why do you think that most people kind of fight you on that? That they think, oh, well, that won't work, but yet you're wanting them to kind of step outside the box.
Well, I always hear people say, "Oh, the toilet's going to break at 2 o'clock in the morning," or the air conditioner's going to blow out at some renters. But well, things do happen, and you have people to call, and people show up and they fix things. Like, how many times have your toilet broke at 2 o'clock in the morning? It's very, very rare. Like, or it happens. The air conditioning goes out, but you wait until the morning or something like that, and things get done. But some people think that they're going to go out of their way. They're out of their small comfort zone to like change.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess,
That's
I
what.
mean, it's scary for some people, right? Kind of stepping outside of what's familiar to you and being open to new ways of life.
Yeah, yeah. It is. I mean, I can understand some people just want to go to a job and get out at 5 o'clock, but I've never been like that. I've always had one or two jobs. I've always done things like out of the box, out of the norm.
Absolutely. So I'm just kind of curious, what kind of led you into real estate? I mean, I know you kind of talked about your parents kind of having that entrepreneurial mindset, but what kind of led you into it?
I don't know. I just like I said, my dad's sister, my aunt, she has 9 homes, and then I have an uncle that has about 6 homes that they rent out too, and they live comfortably. They don't go to work. I just always saw it around me that real estate was something that you can obtain and you can live a good life. You don't have to work as hard as everybody else. Um, and then the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, just really inspired me.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you kind of explain? I know you mentioned how in Edinburgh you wanted to get those rentals near the new medical school, right? Could you kind of
Yeah.
maybe explain like maybe the economy in the Rio Grande Valley and kind of what the rental market's like there?
So the rental market, okay. So the economy isn't that great. We do have a lot of like fast food. There's not, industry across the border. We have the maquiladores. Not those where all the industry and things get built in Mexico. But on this side of the U.S., we don't really have that. What we do have is an influx of wealthy Mexicans that come and buy. They come buy all your name brand things or shop at our stores. That's what does happen. That's what drives our economy. Tourism from Mexico. If you make about 40, 50,000 a year, you're living a decent life. A teacher salary, you're probably living a decent life. You can afford a car maybe every 5 years in a small 2 or 3 bedroom home. We're not looking at like hundreds of thousands of dollars like in Austin or LA or Dallas. You're going to have a good life with a low amount of income. Now, my rents are only about $600 a month, so that's affordable for a 2 bedroom, 2 bath. That's what averages it out. And something like that would cost 2 or 3 times more in Houston or Dallas.
Sure, absolutely. So how are you, if you wouldn't mind maybe talking about your first deal, right? Maybe your first rental property you got, how did you find it and what was the deal like?
Okay, so I said 2017, I decided I'm going to jump into it. I had a little bit of money. I applied and I didn't get the loan, and that like really discouraged me. I was like, I'm not going to get the loan. Well, okay. Well, I just kept saving and saving and saving, and my income kept growing and growing. And then in about 2019, I told my cousin, it was like 4th of July around there. I told my cousin she had just gotten her real estate license. I said, I'm ready to buy. I have the money. I know the area that I want to get. I graduated from UT Pan American, and they had just changed the school into UTRGV. I want to buy there. She says, okay. Like she was ready. She was hungry for her first deal. I was ready for my first deal. I was hungry for my first deal. And so we went out one afternoon. I think it was on a Tuesday, and we went to go see like 6 different places. She helped me search for the areas that I wanted. I told her I wanted a 4-plex, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. This is what I kind of want it near the university, not too far where people can't walk. And she's like, okay. So she really like pushed herself to look for everything. And then one of the places that she did see, we ended up looking at, and I really liked it.
Okay, very good. So what is it about those, two plexes, three plexes, four plexes that you seem to like as opposed to just one home?
Well, because okay, like I've heard like Grant Cardone and other people like that, where if you just have one house and you have it rented, that's 100%. But if you don't have it rented for a couple of months, you're not making any income. You're going to have to be paying back into that. So with 4 doors, I mean, one of my doors pays my taxes. 2 of my doors pay for my loan, my mortgage, and then the other one pays for my profit. So I saw that the advantage of having four doors, all the time. I have some kind of renters. They're all not going to leave at the same time. I might have one for at least that cascades, at least over here, over there. I'm always going to have some kind of renter.
Okay.
And then, yeah, conventional loan only gives you up to four. You can't, and then commercial after five. So, yeah, that's why I got that.
Okay. Very good. So what sort of, I mean, are you exploring any other markets in the valley or just strictly?
So, okay. So I live in a small town called Lyford. It's a really tiny little town. My 93-year-old neighbor passed away in December. He's known me my whole life. And so I went over, I talked to his son about things that I was doing and buying real estate. So he called me about a month and a half ago. He asked me, I'm willing to sell my house. It's my, my parents' home. You're my neighbor. I know you very well. And he gave me a great deal, 40 grand for his home. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It sits on 2 lots. It's right next door. I couldn't say no. So I picked it up. And hopefully in October, we're already in the title process. So we're getting all the things, we're checking all the back taxes and things like that, which she says is all clear. So we shouldn't have to wait too much. And I'll start from there. And I want to start a new Airbnb there in my little small town to see if it works and try it out. So I'm
Okay.
branching out of the Rio Grande Valley. I do love the Rio Grande Valley. We have a beach. We do have, medical schools. We do have a young population. It's growing. You can still purchase, a good amount of land anywhere,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny you say Lyford because my grandpa was born there. So I have some family down there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. It's a small world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Raymondville, Lyford, La Sada.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. My grandma was born in Mercedes. So I know the area.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I go to Mercedes often. There's an outlet mall. It's growing, and Mercedes is growing a lot. So is Westaco.
Absolutely. So I know you mentioned, Lyford, Edinburgh, right? Are you looking into any other towns in the valley to invest in, or you said you're kind of going elsewhere?
I was thinking about South Padre Island. Great tourism in the summer. You get your snowbirds from
Canada.
Canada. You get them from Canada. They come. We get people from Minnesota. We get people from North Dakota, South Dakota that come in and rent in the wintertime. And then we have the summertime here. And the beach is very beautiful. It's one of the top destinations for spring breakers, before all of the sickness and everything like that. But yeah, it's a great area. And it'd be something that I want to expand to.
Sure, absolutely. So are you talking more about owning, those duplexes, those quadplexes in South Padre or condos, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I would. I was looking into a fourplex. That'd be the best bet. Look into a fourplex. Like again, I like the idea of having multiple doors. I'm not a big fan of HOAs, but if it's in the area, like we can work with it as long as we're. And South Padre has a big known tourism town, so there are cleaners there. There are people that can market for you. There's tons of things that are there for you that are already known to be for renters. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Could you explain what an HOA is for those of us who aren't familiar with HOA?
Yeah, so it's a homeowners association. Um, they cut the grass. They make sure the signs are correct. They make sure that you have, make sure that your grass is cut to keep the property values at, a decently high. They try to, you pay monthly through your mortgage or you pay monthly through your home. My friend's house that I'm in right now, they pay, we figured it out, they pay about $69 a month to live here. So it's something that you always got to be paying for, but it upkeeps the neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it sounds like the drawback is obviously it's an expense, but like you mentioned, a positive part is it upkeeps the neighborhood, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you don't have a neighborhood that has an HOA, you might have a neighbor that has high grass, or you might have a neighbor that paints the house like, wild pink. It might offset the neighborhood and might not look that great. So what an HOA does is they have a set of rules, and then you have to follow those rules so you can live there.
Sure, sure, absolutely. Yeah, so I know you kind of mentioned a bit about your rental portfolio, kind of what you're looking to do. Are you in the valley right now, or where are you at right now?
So right now, I'm in a house flip. I'm here in San Antonio with my two friends. Um, they purchased the house in February, and right now they're just doing painting. We're gonna go look at floors today. We're gonna look at new back walls for the kitchen. We're looking at new fans. You know, they purchased the house in late February. So before the sickness happened, they didn't really know that all this was going to happen. But yeah, they got inspired by me to start looking for a renter, and like they're going to rent this out. They paid cash. So in about 11 months, they're going to season it. They're going to go into a mortgage, a traditional mortgage, and they're going to get a renter to pay it off. And with the money that they pull out from their mortgage, the cash that they put in, they're going to go buy a duplex, or they're going to go buy another single family home so they can rent out themselves. So they had the idea because of me to like, let's do it for ourselves. Let's build our wealth.
That's awesome. It's pretty cool kind of seeing that come to life, and I mean how you're the one that's inspiring your friends. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. The house kind of looks a little rough right now. We have the light fixtures here and there, and, concrete floors, and tile needs to be put in and floating, but we're going to get it all done. We're going to get it all done probably in a couple of months, and then we'll figure it out, and then we'll move out. We'll go into another place. I'll help them out too if they ask for my help. So yeah,
Yeah,
they're pretty great guys.
yeah, for sure. I'm just curious as well. I know you mentioned how you need to get the light fixtures. You have some work to do, the flooring, the tile, right? So when you're going to purchase those materials, do you have a budget with you, or how do you know what materials you're going to buy?
So for like a rental income, you're not going to get those high end pieces unless you're looking for a high end renter. You're going to look at what it's renting for in the area. So you might get like, decent. You want a place where people are going to be safe and they want to live there, which is a good thing. But nowadays people don't want carpet in their house because they have allergies or dogs. So we got to like update some of the things that they have in this house. There's no ceiling fans in most of the rooms. The ceiling fans help cool the air. We live in Texas. It's really hot year round. So even I've been in Texas where it's 90 degrees on Christmas Day. It's hot.
Yeah.
On Christmas Day, people are out in shorts and at the beach, and you're like, what? Like, it should be a white Christmas, but it isn't. So we're just looking at little things. We want someone to enjoy this place and have a safe place to live, and just small updates. You're not going to go out of your way to have like, ceiling faucets. You're not going to look at high end, bathrooms, tile, and things like. You're going to look at a nice, decent place where people want to live and safe. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. You made a great point about, people having allergies. Maybe they have dogs. What other sort of kind of little, you know, alterations do you have to make to properties to kind of accommodate people?
Not too much. I mean, not too many things you have to accommodate. I mean, you're gonna pick the renter. You're not gonna always want to pick the first renter that comes along. You're gonna look for a good quality renter. Of course, you're not gonna discriminate against people, but you want someone that has a job, at least to have a job to pay for the cover the expense, and you want someone that I guess you just want someone that's gonna fit into the neighborhood and fit into that little area. You understand?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you need someone with at least a decent credit score and someone to pay the rent. Yeah, because if you had someone that has multiple evictions, they're likely gonna have an eviction on their credit history or something like that. You're not gonna want to rent to them. It's gonna be a hassle, and it's gonna be a lot of work getting lawyers and especially with all the sickness that we went through and people couldn't be out out in the streets, and it was really hard. So you know we got it. I use cozy.co, and people can apply there to get into one of my apartments. I know it joined apartments.com. So I can post out the single family home that I'm renting out, and then multiple people can look at it because it'll be in different websites. And then we can get quality renters from there.
Okay, what was it called again?
It's cozy.co. So COZY.co. And now they joined apartments.com.
Hmm.
And cozy.co, I really like it. It's free for landlords. Um, So the renter goes in there, they can pay through credit card. So if they pay through their credit card, it's about 2% fee for paying for that. Or they can use it out of their bank account, and you don't have to go out into, on the first of the month, you don't have to go out and go pick up rents. Like, oh, I need to pick up rent from so-and-so. I don't have that time. You have to waste your day to go pick up rents. So what the renter can do is they can set up, the date that they want to pay it. So they might pay on the 3rd, they might pay on the 25th, a couple of days before. And, it's just, it just gets deposited into my account, and it gives me their information. So let's say their last name was Solis. So it'll say cozy.co, Solis, and then apartment, and then that's it. So I know that person had paid their rent, and the program is it's really great. It shows about expenses. It shows about shows rentals. It gives me applications for new rentals. It does a lot, and it's free for landlords. So I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, that's great, Justin. It sounds like it kind of takes the potential headache out of everything, right?
Of course, because I've heard people where they get robbed picking up rents because that the guy's going to be there at on the first of the month, and you have all this money or you have checks and someone gets robbed. That's a horrible experience, because they gave you the money, you gave them a receipt, and now you've gotten robbed with the money. So this, to me, it felt more safer, more secure to the person can pay it on their time, their schedule. They can set it up. They can pay through a credit card. They can pay through a debit card. They can pay through their bank statements, and we'll get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely it's definitely great that you can do something like that. And I can't help but laugh. I think it's funny. Kind of in the beginning of the podcast, you talked about your friends were saying, oh, don't do it. A toilet's going to break at 2:00 in the morning. But what you just said with that computer program, it takes a headache out of everything.
Oh yeah, like if I have my lawn service, the expense. If there's the light, I pay for the lights for the parking area. I put that in my expense. I put everything there. I take a snapshot of the picture, and it's on my report for my expenses of that month. So I don't have to guess, oh, well, how much was the water? Well, I looked through there. The water was, $50. The trash was $50. So it really does help out. It shows that I'm making money. It shows the rent rolls that I'm making money there in the past. So when I do want to sell, I can say, okay, well, the last 12 months, these were the rent rolls, these were the expenses, and these were all the printouts. So these are everything that I'm going to show you. So you don't have to go, like back in the day, I think people would just use a journal with every expense, with every income, and then you would give that to someone else to look at it to say, oh, well, my property is making money. Well, I don't know how you're using it. It doesn't show the right way, or it doesn't show the exact way, but everyone has their own different little manuscripts to write. But with this program, it really, really takes a lot of the headaches out of expenses, with rents. I can shoot a renter and say, hey, you haven't paid your rent. It's going to be, $20 more on the 5th, and $20 after it. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I'll send the money right now. Just a couple of clicks, and then that's it. They're done.
Easy enough. I mean, you can do it from your laptop. You can do it from your phone or wherever, right?
Yeah, I can see the difference where people like to invest in different markets. If you live in LA, people want to invest in Texas. It gives them a better security of like, well, I don't have to be there on the first of the month to pick rent. I can always pick up a call and get, a plumber out there, an electrician out there. So it gives it a little ease to invest in other areas and other markets.
Absolutely. And, it's pretty cool that, obviously you do live in the Rio Grande Valley, but you're able to, to kind of be in other markets like you are right now in San Antonio.
Yeah. The freedom that it gives you, having other people work, they don't work for you, but they're helping you build your wealth. It's not, I'm not at a job at 9:00 in the morning and leave at 5, and that gives me my flexibility. I do work for a home health, so I do make my own schedule, but it's amazing, like others building your wealth for you and lowering down your debts every single day. They make a little payment here and there, and I've been able to grow with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So could you kind of maybe touch on that, on the home health, and maybe is that kind of your vehicle to investing in real estate?
So yes, right now I do massage therapy. I work with kids with disabilities. So I work with really 6 kids that don't really move. They're pretty much bedridden. We do stretching and massage, and it's an enjoyable job. I've been doing it for almost 5 years. It's really hard when a client, a patient passes away, but I'm entering their homes 2-3 times a week, and it's a great profession. It's been able to afford me to be able to afford, to invest in real estate. Gives me great hours. I set schedules for myself with the clients. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome you're able to
it's
do that.
total. It's a total different. I graduated from the University of Texas Pan American in 2013 with a degree in business, human resources, and operations management were my concentration. So I have used it a little bit, but it wasn't the plan. That 4-year degree wasn't necessarily the stepping stone where I needed to be. That 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 certificate actually helped me grow more than that 4-year degree. Now I do, I was talking to my friends yesterday. I still made wonderful connections and made wonderful friends and things like that in that 4-year college degree, but it wasn't what I really needed. And now I'm still I might need it because I've been taking my prereqs to get into PT school. So I might be a doctor of physical therapy. Hopefully, after the sickness is over, I'll apply and continue my education if that's something I want to do. But this vehicle of real estate has really just like skyrocketed me to retirement, to wealth sooner than I thought it would be.
That's awesome. I mean, regardless of what you choose, whether, you go the physical therapy route or continuing the way you're going, it sounds like a
Yeah.
win-win. You have some great options.
I just started Airbnb in June. Um, Now, Airbnb is a short-term rental. It's like Venmo. No, not Venmo. VRBO. Now, I was very nervous this summer because with all the sickness and everything like that, I had a. I just purchased this other fourplex in February, and then in March the renter left. He's like, "I'm leaving," and I was like, "Okay." Like, he was month to month. He was month to month, but he didn't give me the 30-day notice, so I didn't give him back his deposit. But he just left. I was like, okay, well. So for about a month, March, April, that month, I was like, what should I do? I've always looked into like biggerpockets.com or their podcast that they have. And one of the ladies was like, well, I do short-term renters, Airbnb, and it's really great. So I said, you know what? Let me get the materials that I need. I've stayed at Airbnbs before, so I kind of know an idea. So I got sofas from I Offer the app. I got a table from the same lady that I bought a bed from. I bought brand new mattresses from Sam's Club. I got everything else from Amazon. I bought a brand new stove from Lowe's. I updated the Airbnb, the apartment, just enough to make it look really nice. It's two bedroom, two bath that I use in my fourplex. And I should have done this even sooner than I even thought because I'm making about $1,700 a month in profit from the regular $600 a month in rent, long-term rent. I was really lucky. I've gotten a lot of physical therapists. I've gotten nurses, long-term nurses that have been working in the area because I'm close to 3 hospitals. So I'm always having some kind of people. I've always had people looking for that Airbnb. So I'm really excited. I kind of can't wait for my next Airbnb, but it's been a really big positive in my life. Like, yes, right now it's just me, so I'm the only one cleaning. I'm doing the cleaning myself, but it takes about 2 hours. I just change the sheets, I wipe down everything. I don't want I don't want the illness to like discourage anybody to come. So I wipe down everything. I change the sheets. I wash the towels, and I've had really great success so far in these last couple of months. And I couldn't imagine. I can't believe I didn't want to start. I was so nervous to start at the beginning. Like, what if it doesn't work? What if I never get any renters? What if I get horrible people that are going to trash the place? Of course, you're going to get times where people are going to trash the place or they're not going to like it. But, right now it's been so awesome to have I have people that are there for like 60 days. There are people that are for 20 days. That's great. It's amazing for me to grow. It helps me pay down my debts, and I've gotten something new that I've learned. Another role of income that I didn't see before. So I have right now a couple of streams of income every month. I have my savings, I have my Airbnb, I have my long-term rentals, I have my stock investing, and I have my regular job. So if one of those things fails, I still have some kind of stream of income that is still going to make me more money every single day.
Yeah, it's neat you can do that. And it's cool that you kind of you kind of broke that mentality in your mind, right? Because you kind of had those thoughts about, what if it doesn't work? What if I can't find a renter? What if I have all these problems? And
Yeah.
you just took that leap of faith and you did it.
Yeah, it was nervous. I talked to my friends. Some of them were for it, some of them were against it. But a lot of us are millennials, and we've stayed at Airbnbs before because it's cheaper, it's closer to the things that we want to do, it's bigger rooms. Like for $100, you can get a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, a kitchen, a dryer, a washer. You know, you can't get that at a hotel. You can only get like 1 room or 2 rooms and a bathroom, and you're lucky if you get a good TV and a refrigerator. That's it. But when you use Airbnb, you're getting an entire apartment. You can rent out someone's house or someone's room, but you're getting so much more for a better price. And I even see that Marriott has decided to start getting into the short-term renters where they're starting to buy houses. So Airbnb has a run for their money. I mean, they're still not profitable yet, but man, it's still growing and growing and growing right now.
You made a great point there, Justin, kind of talking about how millennials are kind of more open to that, given that it's cheaper and all, the options it can give you. But it's interesting seeing like the different consumer behavior between the generations, right?
Well, being a millennial kind of sucks. Like we had September 11th. We had that happen while we were in high school or elementary or middle school. We had the financial crisis in 2008. So a lot of families were affected with losing jobs or losing their house. And then we have this illness right now going on. Millennials have gotten the short end of the stick. Like every few years, there's something that bars us from succeeding. I keep reading in the news like 2/3 of millennials still live with their parents. Well, of course, because the housing prices have gone skyrocketed. Incomes haven't increased. you know, I understand where we're coming from. We can't afford to move out. We can't afford to buy a house. My dad only finished the ninth grade. My mom finished high school. My grandmother went to the second grade, but they were able to buy a house. My grandma had a Cadillac a pink Cadillac, just like Elvis. They were able to succeed in America. They were able to grow, buy a home, buy a car every couple of years. And now we don't get that as millennials. We have to work and work. We have so much debt. Everything's more expensive. That step forward, that leg that the government, it's not clicking as it used to be. You know what I mean? 50 years ago, maybe 60 years ago, you could, get out of high school, work at a factory job, buy a house with your wife, or buy a house for yourself and get a car. You can't do that nowadays. You got to save and save and save and save to get that first property. So I feel like as a millennial, we're looking for better products. We're looking for something that's inexpensive. We're looking for experiences. I think we're just different. We're different as an age group, because we've been affected so much by so many different things in our past that haven't allowed us to grow.
Sure, absolutely. You made a great point talking about, the different events that have kind of happened for, us, the younger generation. If you could make a public service announcement to, to the younger generation, what do you tell them to be able to deal with this situation?
Like younger or older people, like?
Yeah, younger people, people who, maybe don't have credit, people who are living with their parents, people who kind of what you explained are,
Yeah.
trying to make it.
Like you can do this. We can pull ourselves out of this rut that we're in, this poverty that we're in. It's going to take some time, and sometimes you got to be more frugal than the average person. I have friends that love to go to Starbucks every single day. Starbucks adds up. $5 here and $5 there. When I was a kid, we didn't go. We only ate out maybe once a week. But as an adult, we can eat out every night. We can go out to bars. We can go out to restaurants. And the sickness has really slowed us down and showed us that we can cook meals again. And you just got to budget. You got to see the future. If is this something that you really want? Like me, I really wanted these apartments. I had to save for them. I had to make a little sacrifice here and there. There was a point last year where I was in a car wreck, and I had another car. I've always been fortunate to always have 2 cars with me, but that second car, the AC went out, and I was working 7 days a week. and I couldn't, allow myself to stop using that Jeep, until I got these next 4 apartments. And as soon as I got those 4 next apartments, I was out there at the Honda dealership and I got a used car. I got a 2018 Honda. And I don't I've been there where I want to have the brand new car, I want to have a brand new pickup truck. But now, I can see the value of getting a used car. I can see the value. You know what? I'm not going to lose that appreciation. I'm saving a little bit of money here for the quality of car that I'm getting. You got to step back and look at the whole picture. If these are the 5 streams of income that I want, well, I'm going to have to sacrifice here to get these or get this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of knowing where you need to make the sacrifice and, trying to save a bit and then leveraging it into something else, kind of how you said, being a bit more frugal here, but on the other end, putting money into your rentals, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you don't have to be super frugal. I mean, of course, you can always hang out with friends. I love looking at YouTube. Graham Stephan. He's very frugal himself. He goes to happy hours instead of going to pay full price for things. And that might be the key to save a little bit of money to get into your first home or to get yourself into your first fixer upper. That's the key that we as millennials need to see, or younger generations, to say, okay, well, these are the steps that I need to take. So I might not, as soon as I get out of high school, I'm not going to buy a brand new Camaro. I'm going to buy a junker, maybe a 10-year-old Accord or a 10-year-old Honda. And then as I go and I build my wealth, I can get these renters to help me pay for my car. So right now I don't have any bills because all of my renters pay for my bills at this point. So right now I could technically retire, but I don't want to right now. I want to keep growing. I'm only 33. My true goal is to have about 200 apartments, by the time I'm, 45, 50 years old. I'll have 9 doors in the last, if everything goes well by October, I'll have 9 doors in the last 13 months. So I've grown pretty fast, and I want to continue growing and growing, every 4 years, even adding 4 doors or adding 8 doors and maybe going to the commercial side. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's great that you're, you have that vision of being able to do that kind of incrementally, building your portfolio, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to over leverage myself. So like this house that I'm purchasing it cash. I do want to have assets in case something does happen where, the economy slows down again, or even slows down even more than we already had these last few months. I'm not going to lose everything. I'm not going to lose everything because, I've built this structure of five streams of income to help me through a storm or help me through a process. So I can afford, if I do lose my job today, my renters can help me pay for my rents and pay for all my expenses. But if I lose all 4 renters tomorrow or 8 renters or so, I'm still going to be able to pay those properties because of my job or because of these other streams of income that I have. I don't
Yeah.
want to over leverage myself. People do that a lot. And I've seen that where people, they end up buying too much or they can't afford, they buy a brand new car and a brand new house. And then a couple months later they lose their job and, they're trying to sell and they're trying to sell one thing or another. It happens.
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. It's it's kind of a dance between not over leveraging yourself to where you're over your head, but
Yeah.
but yet still kind of pushing yourself to continue building, right?
Yeah. Like you always want that advancement. Once you get your first deal, you're just hungry for your next deal. Like I was already like, okay, I closed on these 4 apartments. These were great. You know, I'm ready for my next deal. So I finished in September, and by February I was already closing on my next 4 apartments. I was already like, I'm ready. I wanted that rush of like, I can see this happening. It's working. Things are working with me, and we're continuing. So that's what I want to do. I like that rush now. I really do enjoy this, like purchasing and building wealth. And you own a piece of property, like that's something important to myself. You know, uh, something that it was harder for people to do that in the past, was to own a little piece of land, and now we can. Like it's possible.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the one of the biggest perks to to living here in this in this country, in this market, in this state. Just being able to be able to do something like that.
I mean, I love Texas. I mean, yes, it's hot, but we do have a great economy here. It's a mixed economy. We do have a young people that live here. I enjoy, when I go to Austin, I enjoy it there. It's so vibrant. There's so many things to do, South by Southwest or ACL. I love Houston. There's always something to do there. I think we live in a great state. Yes, I love California. I've been there a couple of times. They have amazing weather, but when you come back home to Texas, it just feels different.
Nothing like home, right?
Yeah, like I'm a fifth generation Texan. It just feels great. I mean, my great grandparents were here when this was Mexico, and but we've been here for a long time on this side of the river.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here. Yeah, it's neat to kind of see. Obviously, I love our Texas culture, but it's neat to see it grow and kind of see the different things that different regions of the state have to offer.
Yeah, I have a friend that moved to Seattle. He's like, in 5 hours, I can go to a couple of states. In 5 hours, I'm still in Texas. Like, I'm
Yeah.
barely in Austin, or I'm barely in Houston, or I'm not even close to El Paso. There's so much that the state has to offer.
It's crazy to think that El Paso is actually closer to LA than it is to Houston.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's what is it, Sunnyvale, California? It's like 50 miles closer than it is to Dallas. That's ridiculous. It's crazy, but we live in a huge state. Everything's bigger in Texas. We have a great culture. We have a mix of people. The food is amazing in Texas. Barbecue, Mexican food. We have people from all over the world that love to be here. So you can pretty much experience anything.
Yes, sir. That's right. I'll be here till
Yeah,
the very end, man.
yeah, I believe so too. I want to grow a family here, and who knows, one day, and I'll probably be buried here in Texas. Don't see myself out there anywhere else. It's home. That's where my family is, in Texas.
Absolutely. Beautifully, beautifully said. I know you kind of mentioned how you're wanting to build your portfolio. You talked a bit about Texas, a bit about how you're getting started. What are you looking for right now? Are you looking for cash buyers? Are you looking for people to partner with you? How can the network help you?
Okay, so I'm looking to. Right now, I'm just by myself. I really believe in the next couple of months, maybe after January, people are going to start losing their homes. It's inevitable. A lot of people are going out of business. You can see it everywhere. We saw Bell's going out of business. We've seen Steinmart, Pure One. All these companies are downsizing, working from home. People are going to lose their jobs, and it's unfortunate. But I feel like I can grow my portfolio in those next couple of months. Um, maybe another fourplex, maybe a single family home. We'll see. I'm going to save. Interest rates are ridiculously low right now. I mean, I saw someone with a 2.84. That's ridiculous. We've never seen these interest rates before. I've never seen them in my lifetime. My mom was telling me that back in the day, it was 14, 15, 16% for a mortgage. And I can't believe that. But now, 2.84 is amazing. So if I can get any deals, I'm looking. I do work with banks right now. I do have relationships that I've been building with banks to get portfolio loans. So if I'm ready to buy, I can jump on that right away. Um, but right now, I'm just waiting for the market to like slow down. And everyone says it's really hot right now. It's super hot. There's nothing on the market right now. Well, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait. I purchased my fourplex this year in 2020, and the next year I can grow next year if that's gonna happen. But I feel like people are going to start selling. They're going to start downsizing. People don't need these huge homes, for three people. But we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Justin. So maybe someone's watching this, what you've said really resonates with them and they want to get a hold of you. How can we get in touch with you?
So I loaded up my Instagram. It's ROSSRZ6262. You can hit me up there or on Facebook. Um, I messaged all these boards, so I think we met through a Facebook board. I'm on quite a few of them, like dividend stocks, investments, bigger pockets. I'm quite active. These last couple of weeks I haven't been, but I'm quite active. I'm always looking for these new ideas, new ways to flip houses or new ways to invest. You might want to partner up with somebody. You might see I even saw one recently where they're going to move a house. They're moving the house because it's like $5,000, so it's going to cost a total of 40 grand, and they're going to move it into a neighborhood where they can sell the exact same house for $140,000 because the plot of land is at only 12. It's these are ideas that I want to learn. I'm constantly learning on YouTube. I'm constantly learning on Facebook. Yes, you can waste a lot of time learning about nothing on the internet. The internet can draw you in and you can learn absolutely nothing and just looking at puppy pictures all day or cat pictures or just crazy memes. But the out there, the internet's there to help us, to educate us, to see how others have grown and done it for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Justin. Is there anything that you haven't said that you'd really just like to hammer home?
No, thank you so much for inviting me on this little podcast right here, and I hope you continue to grow. Thank you so much. Yeah, I wish the best for everybody out for 2020, and hopefully this year will be over and we have a more positive year next year. Thanks for giving me the time and listening to the podcast.
Yes, sir. All right, Justin. Well, we've talked about a whole lot of stuff about a little bit about you,
Yeah.
about the valley rentals,
Yes.
kind of what you're looking to build on into the future. And I've learned a lot, man. So it's been great, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a
Talk to
great
you.
one.